Hi, so in this video I'll be showing you how to balance the Masterwork item using the rules that's currently in the book. So to begin with, you'll want to be logged in as either a GM or a guide, and once you're logged in as a GM or a guide, you'll want to go to the journal, to the rule book, and then crafting book. And this will open the Masterwork crafting book in the VTT. So you can press a double arrow to full screen it. Now I already had it open, so I'm already at the part of the Masterwork, but you'll want to go to page 11 because anything prior is the mundane item crafting, which isn't relevant to the current video. So this page is just a description, so we can immediately go to the next page where it shows you the enchanting slots. So depending on the rarity of the item that you'll want to be crafting, or that a player may want to craft, these items have different monetary value, DTP costs, and number of slots available in these items. So for sake of example, let's say that we are creating today a common item. So let's put in our note common, and that it has 2 sockets. Okay. And we can also put the base cost of gold in case we're crafting an item for a player who did the downtime activities. It's a good idea to note down the gold cost to see how much they need to spend, or if you're making it as a reward for a quest, how much value that item has a quest reward from the total amount that you can take out, and the DTP costs. So that is our base. Next, thing of note, if instead you want to make ammunition, the process of making 1 magic item is the same as making 10 rounds of ammunition. So over here, you also have other rules which are over here. That is it over here, or is it on the next page? It's on the next page. That you no, it's on this page. Well, don't remember. The book changed a bit since last time I looked at it, but essentially, you cannot have more than one. You cannot have enchantment stacking. So if a player wants to get, for example, fire enhancement twice, they cannot do that. Granted, if you as a GM want to put fire enhancement twice, probably talk to Or about it, but otherwise like an enchantment can only be on the item once, so you cannot stack enchantments. So if I go back to the previous page, if you want to create an item that is able to cast a spell, you know, say the item casts shield, these are the rules for that. So a level 1 spell will use up will use up 1 socket from the item. Level 2 spell also 1 socket, and then 3 2 4 3, and then 5 5. Keep in mind that the maximum level of spell you can have on the item is dependent on the rarity. So even though a level 2 spell is only 1 socket, you cannot put a level 2 spell on a common item. And here are the prices for the different level of spells and the DTP costs. So we'll keep going forward to where we have the downtime activities. So if you're making an item for someone who did the downtime to make the item, these are going to be the downtime activities that you'll see them do. So for exotic bartering, they will have to roll either a persuasion, deception, or intimidation check, and they will need to get a score of 16 or higher in order to get the material. And if they rolled 23 or higher, then they get their DTP back from doing the downtime. When it comes to actually socketing the item, which means putting the enchant on the item, it's this page over here, socketing enchants, where the player spends 1 DTP, and then he needs to do a history check to learn about the enchantment, and the DC is 10 plus the number of socket the enchant takes. And if they fail, they can redo it as many times as they want. It's just that every time they redo it, they'll have to spend another DTP. They can also choose to permanently learn the enchantment once they've learned it by spending 5 DTP and 100 GP times the number of socket of the enchantment. So all that does is that it skips the history check. At the end of the day, they'll still have to actually do the enchantment, which is this bar over here, where they'll need to do an Arcana check. And the DC of the Arcana check, which aura changed because it used to be 12, but now it is 13 plus the number of socket that's already used up on the item. So if this is the first enchantment they're putting on the item, it is a DC 13. If the item already has a 1 socket enchant on it, then it becomes a DC 14 to put the next enchantment on it. That also means that as the player tries to make rare items, it'll be harder for them to make the item. So, but these 2 pages is mainly for if a player is doing the downtime to make the item themselves. If you are trying to create the item as a quest reward, you can ignore this part, because the following page is where you're really interested. That's where you have the actual enchantments listed. So all of the enchantments have an enchant ID, a socket cost, and effects and descriptions. There in the VTT, we have all of these added as a feature in the compendium under enchantment. So they're all listed over here, so when you'll be creating the item, you'll just be putting those on the item. We have another video that shows you how to make the actual item. For now we are just tierizing the item. We're building it on paper before making an actual item in the VTT. So we'll go back to full screen. Give it a few seconds to actually load. Or maybe I'll have to... There we go. Okay. So now, if we go back to the fact that we were trying to make a common item. So we're trying to make a common item. So, and we have 2 sockets available. So what that means is that, you know, we can put like 2 1-socket enchant. Keep in mind that enchants like the elemental enchant, you can only put 1 enchant on an item. So you cannot do a fire cold greatsword. No. Then again, if you talk to Or, you might be able to do it if he agrees, but for sake of balance, you cannot put 2 elemental enchantment on a single item. But something that you could do, if for example you were making an uncommon item that had 3 socket, you could definitely put combat boost and a elemental enhancement, and that would basically make, like, say, a +1 fire sword. So, but in this case, we're currently dealing with a common item with 2 sockets. So we just look at a different enchantment. We just look at the different enchantment, and we look for enchantments that have that have like 1 or 2 sockets. So say for example, we just wanted to make an amulet of intelligence. So we have an enchantment called intelligence boost, and it's 2 sockets. So we could indeed using the enchantment intelligence boost make an amulet of intelligence. But there is one thing of note: the intelligence boost enchantment has a requirement. It needs to be an item that requires attunement. So that means if we make a common item that has the intelligence boost, it would require attunement. So that is something that you can do. Otherwise, if you want to, like, say, add an additional effect, like, oh, I want the amulet to also give an AC boost, which is 1 socket, but you already used up your 2 socket on your common item. Well, you do have ways of adding more socket to the item without making it uncommon, and that's by adding curses. So these curses will add a socket to the item by giving a negative effect to the item. So we could put, for example, Curse of Gambling as a curse, which will add 1 socket. And I recommend that you actually put the enchant ID, because that's going to make it easier for you to find in the future when you're actually making the item. I believe that is SB4. If we go back to stat boost, yeah, SB4. So now, by adding a 1 socket curse, we can add another enchantment that is 1 socket. So we can add our AC boost SB11. Good. And that's essentially how you navigate the book in order to create an item. You just start with a base, what the item should be, and then based on the number of socket, add the socket cost of the item, and socket gain if you're putting a curse on. Now, keep in mind that if you're looking at what the monetary value of such an item would be, curses are free, but if you were to compare the enchantment to the bartering system, each enchantment would be about 500 GP. So if you want to put this as a quest reward, and you're wondering, oh, how much this item is worth based on the quest reward, well, you calculate the base is 200, and there's 2 enchantments, so that's 500 each. So that would be about like 1,200 GP value. Now, one thing of note, I don't recommend when creating an item to actually give it a GP value, because we don't want players to just sell items that are cursed in order to get money out of it, because it defeats the purpose. So you leave the GP value of the item at its base. And if they want to sell the item, they can use the market board on the Discord to trade the item. This is more so that you can figure out how much the item is worth based on your quest budget. So, and if you're wondering what the 500 GP is from, it's like I said, it's from the bartering system, and the bartering system is 100 GP times character level, and a player that would be doing the downtime would be doing this for every single enchant that they're putting on the item. And yeah, that is roughly how you use the book to build, to tierize a Masterwork item that you could make as a quest reward, or to confirm that the item a player is trying to make using the Masterworking system fits the rules. And once you've got this all tierized and it's all good on paper, then you go and make the actual item. And for that, there's another video that you can watch on how to do this. Okay, hope that was informative, and hopefully I don't need to make another video. Good, have a good day.